Hello, my name is Dee Ryan, and on behalf of Limerick Chamber, I'd like to warmly welcome you to today's digital marketing webinar. Happy Friday, everyone. We're thrilled that you could join us. I'm delighted to introduce Danny O'Brien, Marketing Lecturer at Griffith College, to you. Danny, in this session, is going to help you take a look at some of the items you need to consider, the key items you need to consider when considering your digital marketing plan for your business now. He'll be looking at generating consistent online presence. He'll take you through some of the more prominent social media channels you might want to consider using. And very importantly, we'll be asking you to consider the correct tone of voice and conversation parameters for your brand as you push out your messages across the different channels using digital marketing tools. But before I hand you over to Danny, I'd also like to highlight with you another collaboration that Limerick Chamber has with Chambers Ireland and Griffith College for the duration of the COVID-19 crisis. We just this week launched a free online course, a certified course for SMEs that covers areas such as cash flow, crisis management, and managing flexible work practices. That's our Reboot Your Business free online course that we're offering with Griffith College and Chambers Ireland. And we will be circulating a link to how you can sign up to take part in that course with the notes following this webinar today. So at that, I'm going to hand you over to the capable Danny. Danny, have a good session.
Great. Thanks, Dee. Hi, everyone. Afternoon. So the focus for the chat we're going to have is around digital marketing and just kind of adapting to the current scenario and situation that we're in. Just a little bit of background about myself. Like I said, I'm a lecturer in Griffith in Limerick. I've also lectured in Cork as well. I've been asked to be a guest on Live 95, countless times as well. And I've also, through the work in Cork, I featured in the Evening Echo as well. It was in relation to Google and the anniversary of them being in Ireland. We have been in Griffith now for around 4 or 5 years, and the focus there has very much been on the digital marketing side of things. And like I said, so I've had 7 years experience in social media, also in blogging, online advertising, e-commerce. In fact, my first job out of college was working on an e-commerce website, which was a really interesting crash course as well. And also content marketing. And I've worked in sectors varying from education to health and leisure, retail, hospitality as well. Also, business to business. And as the photo kind of says, I also do, just for the fun of it, I do a radio show at the weekends as well. So I'm trying to, trying to keep up to speed, and even doing a sports show at the weekends at the moment. That's kind of fun. Just the key basis, just moving on to the main element of this. So I'm just going to go through some of the important elements and key aspects as well in terms of kind of managing your digital presence at the moment, because even at this stage, like for a lot of businesses, it's nearly more important than ever. And one of the big challenges, especially, and this goes even before this move hit, it's developing that consistent online presence, and it's important to note as well that kind of this thing, it's impacting a huge number of businesses. This is just from a marketing standpoint. So as of the start of last month, nearly 9 out of 10 businesses in the UK, the marketers, they're now delaying or reviewing their campaigns. So they're either adjusting them or they're cutting back on them as well. And even that article there, highlights some of the key impacts that it's having. Please note as well, during the talk, I've links throughout the slides as well, so if you want to look at them afterwards, it will give you more insight as well. And like even say, with the way that things are changing, it's resulted in a lot of businesses trying the rush to try and get as much stuff online as possible, be it e-commerce, etc. as well. And you can even see there, it went from 55% up to 86% in the space of 2 weeks, and only 14% of campaigns at the moment are continuing ahead as planned. And even though this would have been only a month ago, chances are that this has also changed as well. But what's important to note, you can see the key stat there that they're either delaying or reviewing. So it's important to note, you don't stop your efforts. So it's important to know when, and it's been highlighted just in numerous times before, when things have gone down from an economic standpoint. If you cut your marketing completely, that's going to have an enormous impact on your business. So like obviously nearly every brand or every business out there, they're going to have to cut back on certain aspects, but don't cut it completely. And this is just, it's one I came across on Twitter. This is someone I follow on a regular basis, and I've been to a lot of his talks. And he kind of highlights what's important to know. Like it was when this first hit, people, they were pausing their blog, they were pausing the newsletter, they were stopping doing tweets, they were pausing videos, they were pausing everything until further notice. The problem you have with that is it's going to kill your business. So you go from having a presence online to having no presence at all. And things are probably moving quicker online now more than ever. And a simple example I'm going to give even for that is anybody who's on Instagram, you've probably noticed there's been a large uptake in the number of live Instagram broadcasts. If you just look at your stories feature, there seems to be multiple ones being done on a daily basis. So if anything, there's more stuff being done online now. What's important is don't pause, it's to adjust. So again, if you have a blog, adjust it, adjust your newsletter for the current situation, adjust your tweets. So even phrases, key terms there, yeah, you want to kind of adjust them rather than just kind of keep going as is. Also, yeah, adjust your videos, like adjust everything until further notice. And probably for a lot of the biggest adjustment you've probably noticed is in emails, and the fact that you can't really go with the usual. I hope things are going well your side, because again, the climate that we're in at the moment, things are, we're not in normal times in relation to it. But it's important to know, yeah, don't pause, adjust it. If it means changing content, if it means reviewing where you were going, but just, yeah, taking that into account and adapting to the current situation as well. Because again, like I highlighted, the biggest challenge for lots of businesses online, it's being consistent. It's generally for a lot of businesses, if they might start off on a new network or a new area, there's that initial surge of energy, that buzz to put stuff together and just to be interactive, to be engaging, to post stuff up. Then after couple of weeks, then they might kind of notice, or the energy might reduce. It happens to everybody as well. But what's important is instead of it being kind of a case where you're going up, then down, then up, then down, kind of look at it more from being consistent and steady across. It depends on the time of year, you might need to increase it. But again, having that consistency or having that presence is going to be important. And also, yeah, it means as well having less of this 24/7 online. And what I mean by this is the image that I have there on the slide. The reason that I kind of highlight, like, for a lot of businesses, one of the biggest stumbling blocks that they have when they go online is the focus is solely on sales, and that's it. But the problem you have with that, even if you think of it in a general situation, sales normally comes at the end of the cycle. So if you go onto a channel but your focus is initially on sales, you can see it's going to be a problem. Like if you were at an event, or if you were chatting with somebody and they were trying to sell something to you straight away, yeah, people are going to end up muting you, or they're going to end up, say, blocking you. So it's important to know when you're putting consistent content online, and I'm going to go through it in detail in a little bit as well. The consistency, you need to kind of change things up. If you're constantly doing promotions, if you're constantly doing sales stuff, then people are just going to kind of become bulletproof to it. So you want to be smart in relation to that. And the best approach to take in relation to this is the 7 Ps. And what that basically means, yes, the planning side. So yeah, it basically goes to prior planning and preparation. It prevents piss poor performance. So it's important to know, planning out what you're going to post online. And very often, like certain businesses or brands, they might go onto a new network and then they start posting stuff up, and you might ask them, so why are you posting that up? And they go, well, because everybody else is. And that's probably the worst approach you can take. So yeah, it requires just putting some planning in place and just taking a step back before diving into a network. Because again, it just makes sure that you're making max use of it. And what I mentioned about planning what you're going to post or what you're going to do online, there's a couple of ways you can do it. And this is just something that I've found through the years that I've been doing digital marketing and doing marketing as well. This way really does work best. So pick a certain time during the week, whether it's a particular day, etc., or a particular time of day. And basically what you do is kind of sit down, work out, okay, what will you post? So do you have offers going on? So obviously you want to put those out. You might just do a general promotion. So that would be a general awareness campaign, just letting people, keeping you top of mind, or front and center when it comes to when they might think about you. And also, yeah, just value add. So for anybody who's not familiar, a value add is basically, it's a post that you put up that's not kind of salesy or promotional. A value add could be advice or tips for people, be it in, say, if you're in finance, it might be tips for people in the current scenario. If, say, you're in, say, accounting, etc. as well, then it could be advice or tips for people. Here are some fun, like here's loan funds, those kind of things. Value adds are basically, you're giving people advice, and it's not, you're, at the end of it isn't you're going, buy this from us. So again, determine what you're going to post. So it's important to kind of have a mix. So if you have an offer, obviously you're going to put an offer online. You might have promotions as well. And that's just where you, and what a general promotion could be you're just chatting about the business. You're telling the story of the business. People like seeing that kind of stuff. They like seeing the behind the scenes of a business as well. So yeah, general promotion can kind of fall in under those. It could even be the ethos, the how you got to where you are today. And the value add, that could be stuff that you're creating, or it could be stuff you've, like, for example, with it, so the Limerick Focus, if there's any local Limerick news that's kind of a good news story as well, putting that up online as well can be really useful in that aspect as well. And the reason that you kind of want to use this approach is, so yeah, you're determining what you want to post up, then you want to ask why. So everything that you put up online, you want to have a reason behind posting it. So if it's you're putting up a general promotion, then it's kind of, yeah, brand awareness. You want to keep front and center in relation to that. If you're putting up general news ones or just general value added ones, then that's to engage with your audience. So that could, again, like I said, if it's general tips, general advice, if you post that stuff up, so yeah, so just in relation to questions that I'll be answering them at the end of it as well. So yeah, there's a couple of them coming in at the moment, so I'll get back to them as soon as possible. Yeah, at the end of the talk. So your why, yeah, have a goal for everything that you post up. So if it's an offer, your goal there, it's sales, simple. General promotion is just keeping the word, keeping you out there, and a value add, it's engaging with your audience. It's and can also be just kind of to change things up so that you're not posting the same stuff again and again. But have a goal to everything. So before you hit post, ask yourself the question, okay, why are we putting this up? Is there a particular reason for it? Say if you're in, and particularly I've noticed in health and fitness, there's a lot of brands out there, and there's a lot of locations like they've converted to, they're using online classes, they're using tools like Zoom, but also it's important for them as well to obviously promote this class is on at this time, but you also want to kind of promote as well general stuff around health and fitness. So say if people are sitting a lot more than they were before, say here's 5 useful exercises you can do, and it could be an article you're after finding, or say food wise, again, we're more sedentary, here's advice and tips on, say, quick and easy recipes as well. So again, that's what I kind of mean by it. It's not a direct promotion, but people will go, oh yeah, those are those that they recognize, okay, it's advice, and this is, again, it keeps you front and center. So that's the why. Where, so what marketing channel are you going to use? So for example, like social networks, they have their own traits and they have their own strengths. I'm going to do a quick summary of them in a little bit as well in relation to that, because you can't post the same thing. Like, for example, if you had, say, if you had written out a script for a post and you go, right, I'm going to put the same thing on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram. There's little traits, there's little characteristics in these networks that you kind of need to be aware of in relation to what content works, what doesn't, length of text, etc. as well. And even say where you're doing it. So if email is an option for you as well, again, factoring that into it. And also, when are you going to post it? So that could be day and also time of day. So timing in particular is very important for, be it email, be it social posts, etc. The time of day that you post up, and again, the day that you post it up as well, that can be crucial. And even an interesting thing in terms of time of day. So if you're doing, say, a general promotion and you're trying to reach an audience as well, test it out. So look up your analytics, see what times work, what times don't. I've even found just through trial and error that Sunday evenings tend to be a really good time to post out something you really want to get out to as many people as possible. For the pure and simple reason, Sunday evenings, most people will be on their phones, will be on their desktop, will be on laptops, etc. as well. As when they kind of switch off. And that would have been in normal times. When it comes to the time and day as well that you want to pick, I would advise do some research on it online, but also look up the analytics that you have. There's different networks there. And similar kind of with email, they highlight different days, different times of day there that can be optimal. So Mondays, maybe not so much because people might be just trying to get back into the week. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, yeah, definitely. Thursdays, maybe. Fridays, no. They even mention weekends potentially as well, but before you do that, you kind of want to take a step back and go, is this going to annoy whoever I'm sending this to as well? So again, just for kind of in summary, kind of again, sit down, go through exactly what you're going to do and work out what you're going to post, why, where are we going to post it, and also when are we going to post it as well. So yeah, the next step is building it out. So how do you do that? I'm like being honest, and just again, this depends on kind of the size of your business as well. So like if you don't have a team, just play it smart. And what I mean by that is notepads are still useful. So what I mean by that is just if you want to kind of pencil out even what you plan on doing on a daily basis, that can be a really good starting point. If you have other members who are involved with it, do kind of a quick, for example, a Zoom conference, use WhatsApp. In the last couple of weeks, I've used 6 or 7 different types of video or just messaging tools as well. So find one that suits your situation, and yeah, just kind of have a group chat there, have a group conversation, have somebody maybe jotting down the notes as well. But like pencil and pen can be a really just simple, easy way, just kind of start off and kind of plan out what it is you're going to do. And then you can also just use your desktop, your laptop, and tools on that. And what I mean by that, for example, this is a simple one: spreadsheets. So this is it's a sample spreadsheet that I've put together, and you can see there that it's on a weekly basis. I've obviously taken out some clear areas, but you can see it's color coded. So say light blue is stuff that we would have. So you can basically, what this is in a nutshell, it's products or services you're promoting. General promotion, general value added stuff. You can put all of that and just determine, right, what are we actually going to talk about or post about online? And if you color code it, then you can kind of plan out, right, on this week, we're going to focus on A, B, C, and maybe K, L, and M. And once they're covered, you kind of change the color of it from blue. If you're doing advertising or if you're doing a promotion behind it, again, just use whatever color code suits. The areas that I have highlighted there in red, those areas you plan on focusing on. So you can kind of see here, like even if you were just to sit down at the start of even the month and go through, right, this week we're going to focus on this, next week this, next week this, next week this. This just gives you an overall picture. And if you're looking at kind of what to post up, a spreadsheet again can be really useful there. Like so one of the big challenges that a lot of brands and businesses tend to have is when they post stuff up online, it's normally a case of it's 4 o'clock in the evening, they go onto the networks and they're sitting there going, okay, what are we going to post up now? The way to overcome this is simple. Set up a spreadsheet and do it for every day of the week. Every day that you want to post stuff up. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and just kind of write out what you want to post. Are you going to have links in it? Are you going to use photos, etc. as well? Have all of that planned out. So and there's even some questions in relation to automation. The best way I would recommend using automation is automate stuff that's not a promotion or not a sale or general awareness. If you're looking, say, for value-added stuff, I would recommend to automate that, because generally with a lot of the social networks, they tend to kind of penalize content that has been automated. So the algorithms generally, they'd have, say, a checklist of stuff that you try and abide by in relation to this. And if you abide by these, more people will see it. So if it's interesting content, yes. If it's content they'll engage with, definitely. And if it's content, so if you have something in particular you really want to kind of get the word out about, posting it in real time from an organic standpoint, I would recommend it. For automation, I would put up, say, value-added stuff. That's the split I would have. But don't go wholly automated, and also, don't go wholly unscheduled as well. Kind of fit it to what. So if you want to put up stuff maybe on Saturday or Sunday, that might not. Then pick the times of the week that might be quiet enough for you, and post up stuff there that would be scheduled. But if you're looking at to try and reach as much of a big an audience as possible, and like I said, with algorithms, you're kind of playing a game with them, I would put that stuff out in real time. And like I was just kind of take a step back. If you're using a spreadsheet, say for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you have the script done, you have that various stuff done. So instead of you having to do it from scratch, if you've all this done, say on the Monday, and you go to, say, Thursday, and you go, right, what are we going to post up? Copy, paste, put the image in, put the link in, post. A minute. That should be as long as it takes. But it just links back to what I'm saying, planning it out, working it out, so that by Friday evening, okay, this is what we're going to post up today. It might be just great news to hear about a certain area, or here's some useful tips, advice, etc. as well, so that you have it all pre-planned, so that you're not sitting there Friday evening. And let's face it, most people, when it comes to the week by Fridays, they're tending to kind of tone down or just zone down. If you have all this stuff done already, you don't have to worry about, I have no idea what to do. You already have it planned out. And like I said, if it's key stuff you want to post up, do it organically, do it scheduled. Don't do it scheduled. Whereas if you are kind of looking at stuff that might not be as important, maybe schedule that stuff, but never have it as totally unscheduled, and never have it as totally automated as well. Because the important thing to know with social networks is social networks. The social aspect often gets overlooked. So again, bear that in mind when you're putting stuff up. And kind of taking this approach, it makes sure you're proactive rather than being reactive. So if something happened during the week, you'd be there, okay, we'll just move this over to Friday instead, and we'll put this up today. Also, make sure you're planning out and you're being more strategic. So rather than it being a spur of the moment from a more tactical standpoint, we'll put this up today, this tomorrow. Just where you kind of spur of the moment. You're looking at it from that perspective. Yeah, you're planning it out. You know what's going up, and it makes sure that nothing falls through the cracks. So if you have certain key services, key products, if you have a list of these are all of them, you can plan out, right, this week we're going to focus on 2, 3, and 4. Then the next week we're going to focus on 4, 5, and 6. And that way you're making sure that, we forgot about that product or that service. You can schedule out, you can see what's going up, what isn't. And it just makes sure that nothing falls through the cracks as well. And one bit of important advice I would give is don't be too rigid with it. So if you're planning out for the month and say something changes during that month, don't be like, oh, well, we have it here in the plan though, we need to stick to this. Don't. If things do change, which they sure as hell are at the moment, there's a lot of stuff that's happening, say on a weekly basis, things are changing. The announcements say about what level is the lockdown going to be at. We're going to find that out as well. It's important to know that, if things are changing quickly, adapt to it. So use this as a guide, but again, don't use it kind of as your Bible that you have to stick to it. Change things around where you need to, but this just helps. It gives order, it gives structure to the stuff that you're going to put up as well. That's just in relation to consistency when it comes to content. I'm going to focus now on the platforms to be visible on. And a general advice you would often hear say might be in relation to, you need to be on every platform, right? No, you don't. But you do need to kind of be smart, and you need to be on the platforms where your audience is. That's the key aspect for it. So you want to be where your audience is, and if you're not sure where they are, ask existing customers or ask people as well, and even just check up any traction you're getting online. If you look at your analytics, you might be able to see what channels, what networks people are coming from, but be informed about the networks that you're going to use. So even just kind of as a brief summary, and as a quick summary, and I realize there's a lot of different, say, businesses in different industries on. So again, this is, it's a speed through rather than anything else. So kind of with Facebook, Facebook, it still is the largest network. Over 60% of people in Ireland have a Facebook profile of one kind or another. So if Facebook is a network that's important for you, then be sure that you're engaging, that you're interactive on it, post at least once a day on it. Be careful with the number of times that you post, because if you go too far down the other end of posting too much, the Facebook algorithm will penalize you as well. So again, with Facebook, bear in mind, it is the largest network in Ireland by a long way, and post on it daily. With Instagram, it's the network for a large young audience. So again, bear that in mind, take that into account. The reason that Facebook's audience is getting older and older and older is because the younger audience are using Instagram instead. The reason they are is because the older audience is on Facebook. That's why. With Instagram, you want to make sure that, again, if it's relevant, post daily on that network as well. And also take into account Instagram stories. And I have that kind of highlighted as well, because Instagram managed to do something that most other networks failed miserably at. They're nearly two social networks in one now. You have the news feed for Instagram, and you have the stories for Instagram as well. And generally, and I did this as a quick Q&A even, or a quick survey just amongst various groups I've been teaching. And I asked them, if you were given the choice, if you had to pick one and only use one, would you use stories or the news feed? Nearly everybody came back telling me the stories was the main tool that they would use on Instagram. So bear that in mind, especially if you have, if your customer or if your audience, if it's a young audience as well. Stories is a key aspect to focus on. And especially with stories, think of them, again, the hint is in the title, stories. So with those kind of posts, you want to tell a story, you want to tell it from that aspect. You can do promotions, no problem, by all means do, but don't forget about the stories aspect. Linking it back to, if you're constantly doing promotions, you're just going to annoy people. So bear that in mind with Instagram. that it's two networks in one. So if you're going to create content for one, you might need to kind of create unique or different content for the other. And the reason stories work so well is because people like going through them. It's like a beginning, middle, and an end for a story. So bear that in mind. With LinkedIn, so yeah, that's so LinkedIn, professional network. So post on it on a regular basis, but what's important is also engage with people on it. So again, go through your newsfeed, interact with people that you want to build links, build relationships with. And that's what I mean, like, for the love of God, build relationships. I'm going to guess every single one of you who are on at the moment all have the story of you connect with somebody and a minute doesn't even pass and you get a generic message going, hi, so-and-so, we provide this service for you. We can do A, B, C, D, E, and F for you. We can do this, we can do that. When can we schedule a phone call? Thanks, bye. Just don't do it. Don't ever do it. I've had numerous even stories where I would have accidentally connected with somebody. They would send an automatic reply to me and they didn't even get my name right. They got the name as Hello Digital because they took it out of my job title. So yeah, with LinkedIn, if you're going to connect with somebody you already know and have some sort of a touch point that will remind them, oh yeah, that's who that is. Because LinkedIn, when it is used right, it is a fantastic network when it's used right, especially with the messaging feature. Be smart with how you use that. And like I said, post and engage with people as well. And that could be just as simple as you maybe just setting your phone to your side, timing it for say 10 minutes and going, right, I'm going to post something. I'm also going to engage, interact with people. And if I get any messages that are relevant, I'll respond to them. But being consistent again there is crucial. And like with Twitter, it's much the same. Tweet and interact with people. There's no limit in terms of the amount of stuff that you can put up on Twitter, especially if you're taking part in a Twitter hour or Twitter chat. But yeah, and that's the great thing with Twitter. Kind of find an area, find a niche or an aspect to it that works for you, that engages, that interacts with you. Because all of these networks, and from my own experience, like I do it as a tester for the fun of it with the radio show. If I'm looking for guests, I try every single network. I try different approaches on them. And when it's used right, you can really reach the right people in the right place at the right time. So use those networks to your strengths, but also just bear in mind as well, be on the networks where your audience is on or where your customers are on as well. So that can be a crucial aspect. So yeah, if you're planning out networks, look at it from that perspective. And what's important on all of these networks, check your analytics. It's available on all four. So Facebook, if you have a business page, it's available there. Twitter, every Twitter page, if you activate your insights, it's available there. Instagram, if you have a business page, it's available there. LinkedIn, you can check your personal profile and see who's viewing it. And if you have a company page, again, you can view it there as well. And in terms of how often you should look at your analytics, so just a benchmark I would give, kind of informally look at it maybe weekly. So just say if it's Monday morning, okay, I'll just look at see how things went from last week, see what worked, see what didn't, and then take that into the week as well. Informally, weekly. Formally, I would say, yeah, look, do a formal report monthly on your social, on your digital marketing, how it's going as well. And again, take that as kind of, the overarching insights for it. And in terms of strategically, look at it quarterly, because things can change that fast, and things are changing that fast. It's normally given as a rule of thumb, don't look 3 months into the future with terms of social and planning that far ahead, because Facebook could bring out an algorithm rule that blows things out of the water. So look at it in terms of your analytics. Just speed through it informally, say once, weekly, do a formal report monthly, and look at it strategically from, quarterly, planning ahead. So, and the reason I say look at it from that perspective is you've probably all noticed in the last month alone, there's been a huge spike in the number of live streams on nearly every network. And also there's been a huge spike as well in the use of messenger apps. And a lot of that stuff I would even just spotted from just kind of going through the news feeds in an informal way as well. And one key channel, and this is important not to overlook it, is Google My Business. So one thing I would recommend for you to look at, if you haven't looked at it already, check out your own Google Your Businesses and see, have they automatically changed your opening hours to closed temporarily? Because there's a lot of businesses, like basically Google My Business, they put out an automated update that closed down temporarily closed nearly every business that has a Google My Business account. So change it where needed and keep it up to date. Like that's what will appear if you search for your business. It might highlight permanently or temporarily closed. So quickly look at your Google My Business profile, and the easiest way to do that, just search for your business. That can be the best way to do it, and just check to see, have they changed your opening hours, and if they have, if you're still open, change them back. That's what I mean by it, because most people, when they're researching businesses, they go to Google. And it's important for local SEO, so that's search engine optimization. So it's important to know, like, and this just goes, it goes across the board. Building your brand is crucial. So yeah, with Google My Business, and this was even, I was at a talk during the summer, and it was one of the leaders one of the leaders in search engine optimization came over from the US, and he basically said, yeah, Google My Business is your new homepage. So think of it like if you're posting stuff on social media, that's business focused. Do the same with Google My Business as well. So yeah, upload lots of high quality photos. Make sure they're good. You want to put your best foot forward in relation to that. So when people search for you on Google, those are the photos they see. Again, have your local number, have your phone number there. Use Google Posts. So think of those like Facebook posts. So one thing, if you haven't looked at Google My Business already, is kind of check it out over the next couple of days. I'm going to go through it in detail, see where you can work on, where you can kind of focus on as well. If people engage with you on Google through reviews, through posts as well, engage back with them. And it's important, yeah, it's beneficial from a local SEO standpoint. And just this slide kind of highlights why. So think about it. If you have a physical location, SEO is crucial. So when you're looking for the location of somewhere, how do you do this? Nearly everybody goes onto Google for this. And I've had to even say, we would have been dealing with, say, one or two businesses where when I went in to kind of start working with them, when I went to look at where they were in terms of Google and where they were on Google Maps, their location, for some reason, the pin was bringing people to one of their competitors, at which point I changed it straight away. But that's why it's important, if you're a physical business and people are going to be doing research on you, they're going to be using Google, and if they can't find you, then they're going to look for someone who they can find. So make sure that you have all of this spot on. Make sure that your address is exactly, that it's on point as well. And it also gives you insights on how people interact when they are looking for you as well. So you can see who visited your website. You can see if they requested directions. So if they're in the car, etc. as well. And it will also show you when people called you. So you can use that to actually find out, again, are there certain days during the week that you see a peak in calls, and link it to that. But again, it gives you a lot of this information, and that's the important thing with this kind of this data. With the likes of this from Google, with social media, with Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, all of that data, all that information is available to you, and it's free. So it's just important to realize that and harness it as well. And yeah, just in terms of just one of the key areas I want to focus on as well. So you want to deliver both quality and also the right type of communication online. So you want to make sure, you're putting the right content online. So the key areas to focus on. So again, have a brand voice. So if you haven't already kind of worked out what this is, kind of take a step back, and there's lots of useful guides online that can help you in terms of finding the right voice, finding the right tone for your business. So even kind of ask yourself, like, are you in an industry or in a business? So professional. So is that going to be a key tone you have? So you're going to have certain terms, certain words, certain phrases that you're going to want to constantly have highlighted there, and say repeat them on a regular basis. Are you in an industry maybe where it's more informal? So could you use, so are you in a sector where emojis, those kind of things might be more suitable as well? So kind of, again, take a step back, think of that. Is it personal? So is there an aspect to your business where you can tell people a story, where you can highlight various people in it as well? And also work on as well, what keywords do you want to use? Do you want to have them on a consistent basis? Any terms? So slogans, mottos, etc. as well. So when it comes to your brand voice, determine, is it professional? Will you have an informal aspect to it? Will there be a personal element to it? I would definitely recommend to have kind of a personal aspect. Obviously, it will be industry dependent, but having that personal aspect, showing people behind the scenes of a business, it works across nearly every industry out there. And having important terms and important keywords can just help as well. So another key aspect, keep people informed. So yeah, there's no such thing as being too informed. So again, for example, like frequently asked questions, and you probably all noticed this as well in terms of the last couple of weeks. Probably the biggest question you're being asked is, "Are you open?" Because I'm noticing it a lot as well. So yeah, just keep people informed, keep highlighting it out there, and even like say with businesses who would be who were just say engaging active. Another key question you might be asked is where you are. So and if you're ever at a stage where you're putting up stuff online and you're wondering, okay, are we maybe repeating this too much? Or if you're looking for something new to post up, or if you're looking for something on a particular day, look at, say, some of your most frequently asked questions. So are there certain ones you get repeated again and again and again? If you do, answer them online, not only to the person at that time, but also just post it up as well. So here's a frequently asked question we're asked by customers. So where can you find us? You might just put together a short little video. You might put out even just say, create a map, here's where we are as well. But when it comes to, again, keeping people informed, yeah, there's no such thing as being too informed. You're going to be constantly asked, where are you and are you open? And I'm even saying that from the perspective, I've worked with brands where their profile picture has been their opening times, and they would still get messages, are you open? Or what are your opening times? So again, bear that in mind. And also, yeah, tell people the story of your business, plus how you're adapting to the current climate. So are there certain things you're doing at the moment where, yeah, it's for the benefit of people that you're doing it? Let people know this. So again, people like doing business with people. So show them the behind the scenes where possible. If it's the work you're doing at the moment, say what the office is, are you getting any deliveries in, those aspects to it. Any small little random acts of kindness, they can all work great as well. So again, tell people the story of your business and how you're adapting it. And again, adapting to the current climate. So look at ways, are there certain things you've done and you're thinking, would people want to know about this? And if they do, again, post it up online. And when it comes to creating content, so this is it is a big challenge at the moment, because a lot of things have they would have stopped, or they've really slowed down. And the important thing to do, again, it's adjust. So if you're at the moment wondering what kind of tools could we use to help create content that would engage with people, these are just some of the bits of advice I would give. So for anybody who hasn't heard of Canva before, the best way I can describe it is it's a graphic design tool for people who aren't graphic designers. It's so easy to use. There's a free and a paid element to it. Even just using the free element, it's terrific. So it's great for image editing, and also for, say, if you wanted to create posters, you could do that. You can create basically any images to any size or scale that suits, and you can do it through Canva. And even they've now added a feature where you can add video to content as well. There's also a desktop and a mobile app. Combine both of them. So if you're looking to post stuff up on your phone, edit it on the desktop version of Canva, download it on your phone, and yeah, just have a quick look at how it looks like on your phone as well. If you're looking for some stock websites, so if you're looking for stock images for websites and you want to make sure you avoid, copyright infringement, so Unsplash is a really useful website with a huge directory of just stock images, and another useful one as well is Pixabay. So you've probably heard of these before, but in terms of when I'm going for images, I'm going for good standout images. Unsplash, Pixabay are the two that I would use, and then I would combine them with Canva. So I would upload the images onto Canva, add text, add font, add whatever you want, add your logo, etc. as well to it. That way, yeah, you're adding that personal touch. And this is just a simple, I took screenshots of some of the stuff that I've done recently. And again, this links just to the radio show I do. So I would have found on the left are the images I would have, say, stock images I would have put onto Canva, say my logo, etc. as well for the show. And on the right would be images that I would have created using the Canva tool, using that dashboard. But you can suit Canva to whatever your needs, whatever your wants are as well. And if you're thinking, right, we might want to do some video, here are some useful, and these are just tools that you can use on your phone. So one tool that I'm available there, it's called Adobe Premiere Rush. So I also have these links to the Google Store if you want to download them. So Adobe Premiere Rush, it's a video editing tool on your phone. So you can have intros, conclusions, you can add music to it. If you want to add text, and if you wanted to do video, you can use that. If you wanted to create a slideshow, you can use Adobe Premiere Rush as well. Quick Player is a tool that's been created it's created in conjunction with GoPro. But again, it's another really useful tool if you want to do short, sharp, simple videos. So yeah, definitely there, just using those two for video if you haven't already. If you're thinking of, you know what, maybe we'll do some audio. So one thing that's happened in the last couple of weeks as well, there's been an enormous rush on tools for podcasting, as it seems to be the case that there's a huge number of podcasts that have been launched. And if you're looking at, say, just doing podcasting or using audio, like your phone recorder can be a useful tool just to start with. So there's a lot of, say, audio tools out there you can use if you're looking. So for example, there's Adobe tools out there you can use for that. But if you're just looking to create audio and put it on a podcast, like your phone recorder can be a good starting point. And there's lots of podcast apps out there that can help you edit and kind of convert them across as well. And the one of the final areas I want to kind of focus on as well, it's your browser tools. And what I mean by browser tools, it's if you look in the top right hand corner here of my desktop as you see it, I have a load of different icons in the top right hand corner. Those are all different tools that I use for different reasons. So one tool I would recommend is Eyedropper, and that's this tool up here. It highlights to you the various colors you would see on a web page. So simple example, I'm just going to click on it here. And if I go to pick a color from web page, and if I wanted to use, say, that color red, and if I click on it, you can see the top right-hand corner that image has changed. It basically what it's done, it's recorded the kind of color it is, the coding for it. So if you had consistent colors, logos, etc., that you wanted to use, and you wanted to find out what colors they were, use Eyedropper. What font will tell you what the font is. So if you had brand guidelines and you wanted to make sure everything was consistent across the board, what font will identify for you? So if I click on this tool, and if I highlight, so what font, it will tell me the various fonts that I'm using across different web pages as well. So combining those two with Canva can make max use of it. And these are just some additional tools. So Grammarly helps with spelling and grammar. Be careful with that. There is, it tends to do it from the American grammar standpoint. So there are one or two words that will seem wrong in Grammarly, but are right. Ad blocker, if you're sick and tired of seeing ads on your desktop in particular, it will block those. If you want to find out page analytics, so what this tool does is, if you link this with your Google Analytics tool, you can go to your website, and if you click on it in the top right-hand corner here, it will give you a quick summary of your stats of Google Analytics. It will show you what traffic's going. It'll show you these key aspects. It'll even show you on the pages what people are clicking on. So that's another really useful tool in relation to that. And finally, yeah, if you're in a business or an industry where emojis are okay, then using the likes of Emoji Keyboard. So again, if your brands or social networks are emoji friendly, where you can post those up, you can use that as well if you're doing it through desktop. And again, like these tools, they will help when it comes to planning out content as well. So yeah, one thing I want to kind of finish on is one of the most important things you can do is, again, check your analytics regularly, at least once a week. So for your website, that's Google Analytics, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Like I said, they're all built into it. And on email, if you're using the likes of MailChimp, etc., they're built into it as well. But just checking your analytics on a consistent basis is crucial, because like this is one of the big key things with digital marketing. The approach that's generally taken in order to make sure that you're doing your best, you're making max use of the platforms, the networks, your campaigns, is you test content, you review it through your analytics, and then you tweak it and improve on it. So the next time you do a campaign, it's, again, you launch it, you will then, again, review your analytics, review, test, tweak, improve, test, tweak, improve, using that cycle again and again, and on a regular basis. It just makes sure, you get your content to get better and better and better each time. But it's important, again, to use the analytics from this perspective, because if you're just putting content out there and you're not reviewing how it's doing, then you're just kind of throwing stuff up online, and you're just hoping that it works, rather than using the likes of analytics to know, okay, this works, this kind of content worked with this audience in this network at this place at that time. You can find out all of that through using the likes of analytics. But the key with digital, it's test, review, tweak, test, review, tweak, constantly be doing it. Again, it's a consistent, it will require a consistent and constant effort as well. So that was just some of the key areas I was going to kind of go through for today's talk. Thanks for everybody who's after joining as well. If there's any aspects to it that maybe I lost you a little bit with, or you need a bit more detail on, we'll have a quick Q&A now. So just let me know that. And thanks for everybody as well who's after just attending today's chat. So if you have any questions, the floor is open to you now. So how to access Google Analytics. So when you start off with, Instagram Analytics, my bad. So with Instagram Analytics, you will start off with a personal profile. There's a feature if you go to your profile, if you go to your main profile, and if you go to settings, there's a feature there where you can convert it over to a business page. So if you convert it over to a business page, this will give you the access to the Instagram Analytics. So yeah, that's the easiest way that you would do that, Susan. I'm just checking up a couple of other questions we have as well. Do you recommend social management systems, Agora, Pulse, and Buffer? I would recommend them in terms, like a lot of the analytics that I've highlighted to you, they're inbuilt on these networks as well. Like the Buffer is good from the perspective if you're looking to put content on a lot of different channels. If you have a lot of different social media channels, you can kind of schedule everything from Buffer and have it go out in the one go. With Buffer, I would use it from a more tactical standpoint. So instead of scheduling everything, schedule certain things, yes, but you do need to there's certain things. So if you post something on Facebook in the same way as on LinkedIn, it probably isn't going to work. If you schedule something on Instagram as you would on Facebook, it definitely isn't going to work, because on Instagram you can put in a lot of hashtags, but on Facebook, I'd recommend maybe put one hashtag on and that's it. With LinkedIn, maybe one at best. But yeah, use them from that perspective. If you're going to just schedule value-added stuff, then by all means use it from that side of things. But don't schedule everything. If you have an offer, if you're doing a promotion at the moment, put that out there in real time, because real time it just goes out better. And another useful tip I would give there is use your organic business page on Facebook as a tester for doing ads. What I mean by that is post something up organically. If it's starting to get a big response, then put an advertising budget behind it, because if it's working organically, then it shows that, again, people are interested. So why not make max use of it? Just 1 second now. Another question from what's the best to try on one or two platforms to begin with and then review? Is it best to try? So yeah, just in relation to that, and best bit of advice I would give there is look at the networks that people are on, see which networks your customers are on as well. And again, just kind of go at them, start testing them, start launching them. So you try out one or two to begin with and then review. So yeah, be constantly reviewing on a regular basis as well. So again, with your brand, simple hypothetical example, you're going to use Facebook. Okay, we're going to go test out Facebook, and we're going to be on LinkedIn in terms of the company page. So be active, be engaging on both of them. Then after a while, review it and just see how things are going. So if, for example, from a business to business perspective, you notice, okay, Facebook isn't working, then reallocate your resources into maybe LinkedIn company pages. That could be a good starting point from there. Sylvia, when it comes to, on Twitter Analytics, you can't see the location or country of people following you. Twitter Analytics is weird from that perspective, because it tailors it to the actual account or the profile itself. So I've access to different Twitter Analytics accounts for different brands, and certain accounts will have certain things, other accounts won't. So yeah, there's, in relation to that, in terms of location, it's not the easiest there. Facebook definitely, it does have that perspective. In terms of Hootsuite, okay, and I'm being bluntly honest here, when it comes to scheduling and automation, I tend to avoid as much automation as possible. The reason for it being, and it's something I've tested out. I actually went through a year's worth of my own Twitter tweets, and I checked out what was the best performing content on it. And I found, on average, out of the top 10 tweets per month, 3 of them were scheduled, 7 of them were either done in real time, during the spur of the moment. When it comes to Hootsuite and those kind of tools, I'd use them sparingly. Just use it for stuff if you're trying to keep things going over, but don't use everything. Don't post everything on it. The Facebook, and if you're looking at it from an analytics standpoint, the Facebook Analytics, that tool, it's one of the best analytics tools out there. So go through it, identify some of the best analytics. I would recommend checking out what posts are working. If you have video, going through from that aspect. A problem with a lot of the third-party tools is they do tend to either not have as much access, or they don't have as much detail on it. So just when it comes to that Hootsuite, use them, but I wouldn't have them as the core aspect of everything you do. I would use the networks themselves. So Adele, your question, does Facebook scheduling affect your analytics, and could you recommend an automation site other than Hootsuite? So scheduling, I have found it. I've tested it out. Scheduling does affect your analytics, because it's not going out in real time. If you have certain really important things you want to post out, do it as a post. Go to your business page, put the content up there and post it at real time, and pick a really smart time to do it as well. Scheduling, I just find it's not as effective. So you have the likes of Hootsuite, you have the likes of Buffer. Those will be the 2 or 3 key tools or key networks out there. And just in terms of say other sites, like you can do it through Facebook, you can use it on Twitter. There's a tool called TweetDeck that you can schedule through as well. But yeah, like I mentioned in here, when it comes to automation and scheduling stuff, be smart with what you schedule. Have a certain percentage scheduled, but then have other content that would have other content that's going out in real time. And I'm just telling you, if you put out stuff in real time, it reaches more people, it works better for you. I'll just have a quick look there, see if there are any other questions. 2 platforms, done that. Hootsuite, done that. Oh, another message. Great. So what platform would you recommend to see more of your analytics on Twitter that Twitter doesn't have? Just in relation to that, I find the Twitter analytics itself is really good. It's really in depth. In terms of just other tools, and that's where the challenge can be. So Hootsuite, potentially that could be a useful one for that. But in general, Sylvia, the Twitter analytics tool itself, it's definitely the one of the best analytics tools out there. I'll even say I might put together some useful advice as well, just on other networks and other tools for you. Other platforms for you to look up the analytics. But I find the Twitter analytics itself, if you're looking up, say, the best tweets and that kind of information, definitely. Because like even in terms of with Twitter, it's like when people just chat with me about advertising on Twitter, if I was to recommend networks for you to kind of invest advertising in, I would do it in order. Again, depends on the industry. So Facebook, definitely. Google ads, definitely, if that's a relevant area for you. LinkedIn, it can be costly, but if you use it right, it can be really smart. Twitter, it's just the challenge you have with Twitter. It's a work in progress in terms of their analytics. But Sylvia, I would, in terms of other networks for analytics, so Hootsuite potentially there as well. I'll send you on just even say some useful advice or tips for that on other networks. But generally, the inbuilt analytics for most of the networks is really accurate and it's really good as well. I might just put it out to everybody again. Does anybody have any other questions just before we kind of finish things up? I notice a lot of the questions are in relation to automation tools and scheduling tools, those kind of analytics tools. If just pairing it back, and this is from my experience of using Hootsuite, of using Buffer, of using those kind of tools, I still find the actual inbuilt tools in those networks is a good starting point. You don't want to be relying on just a Hootsuite account or a Buffer account. You want to kind of balance things up. And again, like I've said, don't schedule everything, but also, just don't schedule all of your posts, because again, and from a social media standpoint, it's important to know, social media. If you're just using these kind of tools, you're just focusing on the media aspect of it, it's important not to overlook engaging with people, be it through groups on Facebook, they're terrific tools, be it through LinkedIn, your news feeds, that's a fantastic tool as well. Twitter you're never more than one tweet away from building up a relationship with somebody as well. And I even find if you're looking to kind of engage or interact with people as well, Facebook Messenger, if you're going to reach out to a brand, Facebook Messenger, it's probably the best messaging tool to use out there as well. Does anybody have any other questions just before we kind of close things up? So no, if you don't have any other questions, lads, thanks for everybody for attending today as well. I realize with it being a Friday, with it being a Friday as well, and with it being a bank holiday weekend, it's kind of combining the two together. But yeah, like I said, if you have any questions, you have my email address there anyway. So thanks everybody for tuning in for this, and so that's it. So I hope you all enjoy. Well, it's going to be a different bank holiday weekend, but I hope you enjoy just kind of maybe relaxing over the weekend as well. So thanks everybody.